Welcome back to Hanging Out with My Cookbook Authors. Today,
I have a fantastic guest today. She is the author of Julie's Eats and Treats Cookbook, which is based on her super popular blog, Julie's Eats and Treats. And now you can get her cookbook and start, making some delicious eats and treats. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Julie Ebning. Hi, Julie.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for sending me this wonderful cookbook.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. So, you are a mother of three.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing before you decided to become a food blogger?
What wasn't I doing? I went to school. I have a bachelor's degree in hotel restaurant management, and I managed a hotel for a couple years, and then I moved back to small town Minnesota, and I worked finance at a car dealership, and then I moved over to the telecommunications industry, and I was a service coordinator, so I dispatched all the techs. And then I went into food blogging full time after that.
Nice. What inspired you to just start food blogging?
So I had a lot of cooking classes and stuff in college due to the fact that it was like hotel restaurant management. So every semester I had multiple cooking classes, and it just like always was something like food was always big in our family. I grew up on a farm, and different things like that. And I've read like one food blog, and I was like, people asked me for some recipes, and I was like, obviously it's easier to put it up online than it is to write it out on a recipe card, because that's logical. And That's how the food blog was born.
Well, that's cool. And then from food blog to cookbook. So, a lot of people are always interested in the build up. Like, how long did it take before you were like, okay, this is going to be my full-time job now?
A long time. I started food blogging in 2010. And I quit my full-time job in 2017.
So 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. But hey, it was worth it, right?
100%. Yep.
Nice. So I imagine you were basically just cooking for your family a lot, because if you're gonna cook for camera, you usually need something to do with it. So it's good to have a family to feed. Mm-hmm. Definitely helps.
Yeah.
What are some of the family's favorite recipes in the book?
What are their favorites? Like for breakfast, they really like, obviously, like the caramel pull-aparts. They like the breakfast enchiladas. My kids love muffins, any muffins. They're just easy and quick for snacks or breakfast. Main dishes, they like pasta's a kid's like happy place, right? So of course they're gonna love
all of our happy places,
right? Like, yeah, we're all kids at heart.
The world's comfort food.
Yes. So
Noodles.
Of course, yes. The like baked spaghetti and chicken Alfredo casserole and things like that are definitely their favorites. But my cookbook is all based on family-friendly recipes. So any recipe in here has survived the taste test of my 3 kids, which is saying a lot. And so you can be assured that it will be recipes your family will eat too, because they are tough critics.
Kids are tough critics.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because they don't know what they like yet, right? So like we as the adults have to like introduce them to things, and sometimes their palate's just not ready for it. And it takes us years before we grow into liking things that we thought we hated as children, right?
Right. And I also think they'll just give you your honest opinion. Like, there's no sugarcoating in a kid's life. Like, they'll just tell you how it is. Like, adults are like, well, it's good. And no, kids are like, this is how it is.
That's yucky, Mom.
Yep.
Not good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice. So I'm doing this crazy food challenge right now where I can't eat any corporate food or shop at any major grocery stores or eat any highly processed foods. And I've looked through this whole book, and for the most part, so my diet challenge basically consists of I didn't change anything I can eat. I just had to change where I can get stuff from. And so some of the harder things that I find to be able to find are like weird baking goods and sauces and like Worcestershire sauces and just just some of the harder things that you just wouldn't think about that you just need to like make stuff. And then having to replace it all. But everything in here is pretty much real food. So thank you. And all of it can pretty much be bought at a farmer's market. And I'm not adverse to sugar. I'm just adverse to like processed and corn syrup and all the junky candies. So I'm super excited to be able to eat sugar again. If I was going to make myself a dessert treat at the end of this challenge, what dessert should I make myself?
It's going to be spring into summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't go wrong with like the strawberry crisp. I mean, it's summer.
It is summer.
Or the strawberry pie or the fruit pizza. Like, you got to do something with like berries, right?
Right. Like, berries. All the berries. Berries are so good. Make sure you always get your berries at the farmer's market because berries absorb a lot of pesticides. And so, clean your berries. But I love berries and I love springtime and I love the idea of eating our desserts seasonally.
It's always fun because I like to, like you said, go to the farmer's market. And it's always fun to like kind of rotate your food based on what's in season. It keeps things fresh. It keeps things exciting. Otherwise you get in the rut of eating the same thing all the time.
And it helps you stay creative too.
Yep.
So you grew up on a farm, huh?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of farm? Did you guys have like all the animals and everything too? Or
growing up.
Tell me about farm life.
I can drive a tractor.
Oh, nice.
Maybe that should be my new tagline. We raised sheep and hogs and we had cattle and we also grain farmed. So we had corn and soybeans and wheat. My brother and dad don't do any animal farming anymore. It's just a small family farm now and it's all grains.
I mean, it is a lot of work to keep up with, I imagine.
It is not a job. It is a lifestyle. That's what I always say.
Homesteading.
Yes.
Homesteading. So I grew up on an old farm that wasn't really functioning anymore. So we never had like the animals, but we did always have the gardens when I was a kid. But even as my mother got older, she stopped growing the food and just really now she grows flowers and a lot of herbs, like a lot of echinacea and like mullein and herbs, but the growing of the food seemed to taper off the older she got just because it's so much work.
It is work. I have a large garden and I can and stuff, so it's a ton of work.
Which is what scares me, I think. It's I never wanted to grow things because I just thought I had a brown thumb. But also it's, you know, each one of them's like a baby, right? Like the bigger your garden is, the more babies you have, the more babies you got to take care of.
Right. And but you have the actual babies to go take care of the baby garden.
Oh, see, you were smart. That's what my mom did too. She thought ahead. Thus far, I have my dogs just pee on the stuff. Yeah.
My kids love to go out there. They love to go out and get dirty in the garden and like harvest all the vegetables and stuff. So that is helpful.
Very helpful. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, just walking through the garden, pulling the snap peas and eating the snap peas right off the corn, right off the cob.
Yep, popping the cherry tomatoes off the. It tastes better. My kids eat raw green beans right off the plant. Yeah, it's
like how many kids in the country will never, ever, ever really get to experience that, and it's probably 90% of them.
Yeah, it's not something like around here because I live in Midwest Minnesota. It's pretty normal to have gardens, but yeah, I mean, when you sit down and think about it, it's probably a lost art.
I think it's coming back. There's a lot of the next generation seems to be super heavy into this homesteading and getting off grid, or even just realizing that what they're eating isn't really good for them. Finally, I mean, hell. I was until like a month ago, I was still doing fast food challenges and getting frozen dinners and eating them. for camera, right? Just to tell you how crappy and shitty they are. But I was still eating, and that's when I broke. I was just like, I can't eat this. Like, I'm literally spitting out all this frozen food and wasting money on frozen food just to tell people that it's trash. And
What I always find funny is like when me and my friends were sitting around and we're like, we never drank water when we were growing up. Like literally never drank water. Like all the kids drink water now. We're always like, drink your water. And I'm like, pretty sure the only time I drank water is if I was playing like a sport and I needed to. I know. But like, yeah, just how things change as generations go on.
I drank most of my water out of the garden hose.
Yep.
I think when I was a kid, like that's where my water came from. My mom made us a lot of like tea juice.
Okay.
Right. So like brew a pitcher of tea and then just like add some like cranberry juice or something to it to like trick us into thinking we were having something. It wasn't just tea, right? Because you're a kid. Kids don't want tea.
No.
No, but we'll take tea juice. You put some lemonade in my tea and then,
Yeah, it's suddenly good.
Or the amount of Mountain Dew that I drank as a teenager. Oh, God. Oh, I can't even fathom the amount of Mountain Dew. Or even that, like, I would never let my kids drink Mountain Dew if I had kids. Never. Would I ever?
My kids always like to push it. They're like, Mountain Dew, Mom? And I'm like, no. Good try.
Try this mushroom elixir. It is way better.
Right.
Which I've actually started on now, like, because they make like energy drinks, but like mushroom based, like healthy energy drinks now.
Oh.
Yeah.
In my head, I hear energy drinks and I'm like, don't go there.
I don't have a can around here, but it's like, it's all mushroom based. So it's all lion's mane and that weird zombie mushroom. And just a bunch of mushrooms that in a can. Yeah. I don't know. They work. They make you feel good. Not really a lot of sugar. So, when replacing things or trying to find healthier versions, that's what I found was people make energy drinks out of mushrooms. There's still ginseng in there too, I think, but.
Okay.
Hey, we've learned things. I don't know. Yeah. It's like, I want a Mountain Dew. Be like, no, you can have this mushroom beverage.
Yeah.
It is filled with antioxidants and it still tastes okay. Anyway. So writing the cookbook, I mean, obviously you had you had the blog, so it was all pretty much up there. Were you taking pictures of yourself, or how did getting the cookbook, or tell me how you managed to go from the blog to getting the cookbook? Did they reach out to you?
It's self-published. So actually I did it all. I partnered with a cookbook editor and publisher. So it's all mine. I own it. There's no one else involved. So I've had requests for like a cookbook, and I've had from like readers and followers. And then I've had like people reach out, like companies reach out and be like, hey, we want you to write a cookbook for us. You have to develop 100 recipes in 90 days and we'll pay you not even enough to like develop the recipes and pay for your groceries. And like, I've always wanted to do it, but it just never made sense, right? Like when you sat down and like penciled it all out, it's like, that's not going to work.
That's an insane amount of work.
Yes, right. So what I did was last January, so like almost over a year ago now, my husband and I were like, what's our goals this year? And I'm like, I really want to do a cookbook. It's like on my bucket list. And a few of my other blogging friends had just released or were going to release some. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. And he's like, so do it. Yeah, what we did was we just pulled in recipes. Like I picked out categories I wanted to fill out. Then I pull in recipes from the food blog to fill those categories out. And I also developed about 20 recipes that are exclusively just in this cookbook and will never be published on the blog. So that's kind of how
the book, people. You need to get the book if you want those recipes.
Right. So that's kind of how we did it. And I hired some of the photos are like, I did the photography and they're older, but like any new photography I've outsourced. So I hired a photographer for them and redid some old ones just because they needed to be updated. And every recipe has a photo, which I thought was important because I eat with my eyes. I don't know about everybody else.
And they look great.
Yeah. Well, that was the goal. So that's kind of how we like sat down. I wanted it to be like that go-to resource for busy families, busy people, just that they could pick up and make a meal out of. So we're really heavy on like the dinner recipes, and I have something for everyone. I mean, I have pork, beef, seafood, soups, crock pots, sheet pan meals, one pot
Chinese food.
Chinese food, Midwestern food. Like I tried to have a little bit so it wasn't all like focused heavily on one thing, I guess. Fresh produce, but things that are easily defined.
And families sometimes have, themed dinner nights, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Italian night, Chinese night, pizza night, taco night.
Yep.
So we can tour the world.
Yes, you can. Through your taste buds.
And fill in your fajita night.
And a sheet pan is so easy.
Chinese food is always the hardest thing for me to make. And so I really appreciate that you put in like a sesame chicken recipe because, it's just so easy to order this as takeout, right?
And I can make Chinese
and I know that chicken came from
food.
Cisco, right?
What?
So like, I know that chicken came from Cisco, so I don't want your Cisco General Tso's chicken, right? Like I want my grass-fed, free-range chicken, but I still want to have sesame chicken.
Yep. Now you can make it yourself.
Now I can make it myself. And not that hard. And I think cornstarch is one of those things that's kind of a pain in the butt to find locally if you don't order it online. But otherwise, you can eat super healthy and make this super healthy sesame chicken. I don't see any, I don't see the salt, my brain is farting. The MSG. No MSG here. Where's the MSG?
No MSG. None in my cookbook, hopefully.
Uncle Roger would be very disappointed.
I tried to stay away from that.
Just a good old sea salt will be fine. So you didn't go to culinary school. You just cooked. Did grandma teach you how to cook when you were a kid? Was it grandpa? Was it mom? Was it dad? Who was inspiring you on the farm and teaching you how to cook?
So I always say like you could set a clock by my mom every night at 6:30. We call it supper here, dinner. Dinner was on the table. I love
that you call it supper.
Yes, it's supper here. Dinner was on the table, and I have two brothers, and my dad would come in from farming. My brothers would come up to the dinner table, and we'd all sit down and have a meal. And back then you didn't appreciate it, right? Like you don't appreciate things as a child, but like looking back, like we were always welcome in the kitchen to experiment and do things with her and different things. And by her like showing up every night, and I say that to her, I'm like, thanks for showing up every night, Mom, because she did, and it's hard and you're exhausted and you just worked and all this stuff. And she fed our family, and it just taught me like how important that meal was now with my family and sitting down to kind of like unplug and I realized life is busy. Like we do the same things, and not every night's going to be this magical experience where you sit down together. But I mean, 4 or 5 nights a week, if you can do that and pick up my cookbook and make an easy recipe in 30 minutes and be out the door again, like that's really like my goal, is to give families back that time and make it easy and approachable.
I love that. Someone told me once that dinner or eating should be more like sitting around a campfire.
Yes.
That, no phones, no things to distract you, just the circle of people enjoying the company of the others while also enjoying delicious food.
Yeah. So like my dad farmed, I said, and I just remember like the conversations had at the dinner table were like based on his farm. And like, I still to this day, like listening to him discuss how he was like, how the markets were and how the crops were and what he was doing and different things he was trying or investing in or different things like that. like I just like not knowing it, soaked it up, and it taught me how to like run a business. And it's like just all those natural conversations that happen and you don't even realize it can be so meaningful. And you said like sitting around that table with nothing. And to the fact that like when we just built our house, we always sat at the bar, like in our old house in the kitchen. And you know how at like a counter, usually you're not facing each other. You're all facing the same direction. So we made our like an extra extension, like it's more like a table. So when you sit there, you face each other. Cause I'm like, I found out that we weren't talking to each other. Like you look away from each other, and just by simply sitting a different way, like it's just more intimate.
You got to be able to make the eye contact. It's hard to cheers when you're all.
Yeah, right. You can't reach each other. And my kids love to do that. They just love to do the cheers.
Well, it's because cheers includes like all the five senses when you do it, right? So you're supposed to make eye contact. You say the word, so it's visual, it's audible. The clinking of the glasses is audible. The vibration of the glass in your hand.
Yeah, they've always thought it was the most fun thing you could ever do.
Cheers!
Yes.
Which explains why we've been doing it for so long.
Yes, it will never go out of style.
Mm. We all know how to wave and we all know how to cheers. Universal communication. Solid. So speaking of dinners, what are you going to have for dinner tonight?
I think we just might have a breakfast for dinner tonight. It's gloomy and rainy. And we love breakfast for dinner. So like some pancakes or waffles or anything like that. Like that's my go-to thing. And kids like always eat that. So it's always a win for everyone. It's easy.
Who doesn't love breakfast for dinner? Right? Breakfast food is actually more dinner-like than
it really is when you think about it. Usually there's like a protein involved, and yeah, it really is.
I mean, sometimes it's even the highest protein meal of the day. Like if you have eggs, bacon, sausage.
Yep.
And at dinner, you're gonna have a piece of chicken, vegetables, a starch, maybe some more, maybe a salad, maybe some bread, but otherwise it's just the chicken.
Yep.
But breakfast, double protein. I love eggs.
Me too.
I love eggs more now that I only buy farm fresh eggs because it's like a delicacy. They're
so much better. My nephew
my
nephew raises chickens, so we always have farm fresh eggs. And it was so weird, like, you know how you can like leave them out on the counter before you wash them? Do you know that? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah.
And
no refrigeration required.
And I'm always like, this is so weird. Like to break that cycle of like, I gotta stick them in the fridge.
No, you don't have to refrigerate the store-bought ones either. They just do it.
I know, but it's hard to like break that mental cycle. Like it needs to be in the fridge.
Yeah. You're going to use them as long as you use them before they hatch.
Yeah. Surprise!
But for the most part, you got to have the rooster around, right? If they keep the rooster separate, you're always safe. But
my kids get so excited because there's double yolkers in them, you know, like we got a double yolker.
You know, the amazement of the child's eyes.
Yes.
It's got the double one, Mom. Yeah. Like finding a 4-leaf clover. And it's actually not that, like, I've found that eating fresh and local isn't that much more expensive. In fact, eggs are cheaper than going to the grocery store.
Yep.
Fruit and vegetables are generally about the same price. And it's better. It's just all so much better.
Yeah. It all tastes better.
Yeah. It all tastes better. There's no appeal on it. So that's... And in case you're curious, currently the only grocery store refusing to carry the appeal coating is Publix. So I don't know if you have a Publix in Minnesota, but...
We sure do not. Nope.
No Publix. Well,
nope.
Shoot. What you got up there?
You know, ours are just like, well, I mean, I live in a town of 5,000. We don't have a lot of name brand stores, so it's all family owned.
Good for you guys. Well, that makes it easy. I know you have a Walmart
it's really
somewhere.
Nice when you can text the owner and be like, I need this in the grocery store.
Like, we got you. Stop by next week. We'll have it for you.
Exactly.
I know there's a Walmart up there somewhere. There has to be.
40,
and a Dollar General.
45 miles away is the closest Walmart. And,
really?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, bravo to you, man. I mean, except for when you like need a new lawnmower or something, I guess. But
oh well, we have local hardware stores that sell.
Oh, you have local hardware stores? Tell me more about this town from the 1950s.
It's very quaint.
You have a butcher too?
Yeah.
Is there like a baker? Is there like a local baker store? You just go to like the local baker and buy your bread?
You can, yeah.
What? You don't have to wait for a farmer's market? Your stores actually sell these things?
Yep. Yeah. It's nice.
Well,
it's kind of a secret. We don't want everyone to know.
Okay. All right. As soon as do not let Dollar General kneel your town. Whatever you do.
That's funny because like other towns around us have them, but we do not have a Dollar General.
Good. Keep them out. They're the evilest. Bad. Bad Dollar General. Bad Dollar General. Mm-hmm. I made a video the other day that said we vote with our dollar, right? And so if you want to go shop at Farmer Bob's farm store, he's right. Oh, he's not there. He's not there because everybody voted for Dollar General as soon as Dollar General appeared. And because it's the raping of the poor. Thank you, Dollar General. Much appreciated, you sacks of shit. Anyway, good for you guys. What is the name of this town? I think I'm moving.
Yes. You can call up your local farmer and have your animal hauled in, and you can have the butcher it, and then it ends up in your freezer.
I love that. I mean, we can do that, right? So we have like a local cattle company and a couple other local like meat farms where you can get online even and like order yourself half the cow, and they'll bring it with them to the farmer's market, and you just go there and pick it up from them.
Okay.
On the delivery day. But that's as close as I can get to walking into a butcher shop. We literally don't have a butcher shop. We have some meat markets, but it's all large distribution meat. So it's not the local meats in like the meat markets. So it's rather disappointing.
Yeah. No, ours is like little town, old school. They haul the animal in the back and you come in the front.
You live in Mayberry.
Yeah.
Julie lives in Mayberry, and I want to move to Mayberry and live with Julie. I know I'll eat well.
Yes, you will.
Awesome sauce. Well, obviously, we can find you at your blog, Eats and Treats. Where else can we go find you?
You can find me on my blog at julieseatsandtreats.com. You can find me on Pinterest or Facebook or Instagram at Julie's Eats and Treats and TikTok.
And TikTok, Julie's Eats and Treats. And obviously the link for her book is right down there. So you should totally go order this book and start cooking up. I mean, just on the back of the book is literally like a plethora of different things. We go from sheet pan chicken fajitas, monster cookie bars, one-pot burrito bowls. We got the sesame chicken back here, slow-cooked French sandwiches, and fluffy pancakes. Just the back is a wonderful assortment of things I want to eat.
Yes. Mission accomplished.
Bravo, darling. And do it all yourself. That's the best. I love that. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope all of your followers made sure that they got themselves a book copy, and all of mine should go get themselves also a copy and support Julie and her amazing, amazing work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I'm super jealous. I'm going to move to Mayberry and hang out with Julie. Awesome. Cool. Everybody go get Julie's book. Go like and subscribe to all of her socials, and go make yourself some wonderful, healthy, delicious meals for your family, and make sure to talk to them while you eat. Super, super important. Awesome. Julie, thank you. Cheers, everybody. Woo.